Hello everybody, my name is Ash. Welcome back to the Outer Worlds. Now, I'm going to go upstairs because...
Due to catastrophic power failure, all doors will remain on security lockdown.
Oh no, we have to restore power before we get all locked down. Shame, I thought security lockdown was because we weren't classed as the owner of the ship. That's not good. That's not good at all. Well, you know. I'll try our best, right? Now, let's go to this shithole city and let's talk to people. See if we can get some loot, get some side quests and all that malarkey, because this is a role-playing game, so we gotta go talk to people.
Hey, Miss Parvati. Come for a visit?
Not today. Just helping this fella.
Lovely to see you about, Miss Parvati.
Things going all right, Silas?
Been keeping him careful and true, miss.
It's interesting that people have added dialogue with companions present. What are you talking about?
Best to ask her yourself.
My dad's buried here. Silas watches over him when I can't leave the house.
Oh, I'm sorry, Pavai.
Oh. Well, thanks.
Something I can do for you?
Okay, I'll leave conversation. Because we've already done that shit, so we can ignore that. What's your story? Okay, I believe... No, I don't believe you.
Keep your distance, friend. Sick house is no place for a traveler.
I appreciate the company and all, but you really ought to leave. You don't want to be seen around me.
Why not?
Because I'm sick. You don't want to associate with people in the sick house. We're not worth your time. I'm in about as much trouble as I can be. No reason you ought to be tarnished by association. People are gonna talk.
Why? What's going on here?
Figured it was obvious. I got sick. Couldn't get better on my own. Got moved here for everyone's sake. Maybe you don't know this, but there's a real simple reason you don't talk to the plagued. You don't want what we've got.
Oh, I don't have free strength. Shame. Medical 5. Yeah, okay. Got some training. I could take a look at you.
Don't. Please. I could get into a lot of trouble.
What kind of trouble?
People trouble. Lazy worker like me getting special treatment from some out-of-town physiker like you. People will talk. Company always tells us, weak spirits lead to weak bodies. If I didn't want to fall sick with plague, maybe I should have worked harder. Maybe I should have taken more pride in my work.
That's ridiculous. You can't blame yourself because you feel sick.
I really wish you wouldn't say those sorts of things. I told you once already. People could be listening. I'm feeling a touch faint. If you don't mind, I'd like to be alone for a spell.
Alright, I'll leave you be. Go around shooting the bugs.
If you're falling sick, I don't want you near me.
Don't worry. I wouldn't do that to you.
We don't get a lot of visitors.
vending machine incident.
Holcomb, got my eye on you, girl. Miss Holcomb ain't allowed in this establishment. Not since that little incident.
What incident?
Ask her if you care. I'm running a business here.
I won't touch anything while we're in here, Mr. Moreau. I promise.
Got some questions for you.
Go right ahead.
What's your take on this place?
What, you mean Edgewater? That's a peculiar question. This a test? Am I being tested right now? It's, fine and dandy. Couldn't be happier. Wouldn't want to spend my life working anywhere else. Prettiest little town on Terra 2.
You can't be serious. No one in their right mind would want to live here.
If loving the place I work makes me crazy, then haul me off for mandatory re-education. I don't get paid for banter. Was there something you needed?
Actually, there was.
Go right ahead.
Anyone I should watch out for?
Other than yourself? Definitely the vicar. Don't get me wrong. He seems a decent man, cut from church cloth, knows his scriptures. But there's something about him that bothers me. Like he's not one of us. Sometimes I suspect he doesn't even want to be here.
So about this plague that's supposed to be going around.
Plague? I don't know anything about a plague. We are the very picture of hot-blooded physical vigor.
Is there a reason you feel like you have to hide what's going on?
You have got the wrong idea about me. I've got nothing that needs hiding. Some of us who get sick are liable to exaggerate the conditions of that sickness. But the fact is, if you work hard, you have got no cause to worry.
What do you mean by that?
Survival of the fittest. It ain't just the law of nature. It's company policy. Medical treatment is commensurate with our value to society. Spacer's Choice will dispense medicine for the indispensable worker. Natural selection at work.
And if you don't work hard enough?
Then the hand of medical science will not grace you with its touch, and you must recover on the virtue of your own grit. Listen, you mind if we talk about something else? Rambling about company policy gets me feeling all lightheaded.
Alright, let's see what you have.
Music to my ears.
Merchant skill. Your merchant skill is equal to the value of your best dialogue skill and is used to negotiate prices when buying and selling from vendors.
Yes, what is it? You're an outsider. Fantastic. Vicar Maximilian de Soto at your service. Or Vicar Max, if you're the sort who prefers brevity. And Ms. Holcomb as well. How rare to see you out. And with a complete stranger. Curious.
Just tagging along, Vicar DeSoto. Don't mind me.
I so rarely get new people to talk to. Name your poison, anything at all. Spiritual counseling, this season's tossball predictions, the quickest way out of town.
Pavati wanted to talk to you about Reed. About what Reed asked us to do.
But what? I thought you would talk to him.
You wanted to speak to me, Ms. Holcomb? Every time I've tried to engage you in conversation, you look at the floor, answer in single words, and slink away. I can't imagine what would be so grave as to drive her to my mission. What has Mr. Thompson asked you to do?
Cut off power to Adelaide's deserters.
Depriving them of safety from the marauders and wildlife. I can see why that troubles you. Miss Holcomb has a soft heart. Always has, if you believe the talk.
What do you think of Adelaide's group vicar?
They rejected the order of society and live beyond the walls so thoughtfully provided by our Spacer's Choice patrons. Does that strike you as a responsible life choice?
Depends on how well the leader can provide beyond your walls.
Astute. But I am here, knocked in the deserter camp. So that's not a variable I can account for.
So what do you advise?
Assuming your goal is to save as many as possible, then you should bring everyone together. Send the power to Edgewater and convince the deserters to return to the fold.
Right, just talk everybody into coming together. Keep that in mind.
If it were as easy as a few soothing words in the right ears, I'm sure it would have been done already. Consider it a challenge. If you don't mind a bit of unsolicited advice, be cautious on your way to the geothermal plant. It is not as safe as you might assume.
And why is that?
One of the reasons I transferred here was to fulfill my duty in hunting down banned heretical texts. I happen to know such a book is, as we speak, tainting a collector's library in Emerald Vale. However, the collector's residence lies outside the town's walls. My retrieval efforts have been thwarted by marauders who have overrun the property. Should you fare better than me, I'd pay a handsome sum for the book.
I assume you'll want to burn it once you get your hands on it.
What? No, I don't want to burn it. I would never. I mean, I just want to... Look, I have a very simple goal here. I just want to keep the writing out of layman's hands. It wouldn't do for such information to fall into public consumption.
I need to know a little bit more about this book before I agree to this.
It's a handwritten journal. A faded blue cover with the name M. Bakonu handwritten in the lower corner. I'll mark where I saw it on your map. Assuming you're serious? It is not only a beautiful relic of a bygone time, it's also the thoughts of an early thinker on the nature of man's place in the cosmos. Not many in this colony could understand its true value, should they ever read it.
I'll look for your book.
Thank you. If you retrieve it, you can always find me here.
Yes! Alright, leveling up time. Let's do this. Let's get lockpick and hack to 30. Get leadership up by a bit. And engineering to bring defense up a little bit. Okay, where's it?
Hey, you hear about Wilson?
Okay, there was a woman somewhere that was leaning up against the wall. I wonder where she is. Oh, there she is. See what her story is.
I've got some time.
What do you do here?
Oh, I'm an actuary. That means I keep tabs on a worker's living expenses. How much it costs to feed, clothe, shelter, bury, and replace your average human worker. Technically, I'm employed by the Spacer's Choice Department of Human Resources.
Alright, leave you be. Maybe she has something to do with her later. Alright, so let's go to journal. Let's see what we got here. Codex. The basics. Movements. Okay, exploration. Okay, this is all basic stuff. Symbols. No, this is all... Okay, whatever. I was kind of thinking Codex is in like Mass Effect or something. Main quest comes with power, strange land. Divert power. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Companion quest. It's active. Okay. Let's fucking do it. Let's do the side quest. No, went straight past him. I'm not gonna try and pickpocket him. That would be stupid. Maybe on a playthrough where I'm not playing on survival and can potentially undo all this dialogue shit that I've done. Okay, you weren't there last time. Whatever. You are now. Phyllis Granger.
You the new worker? Whatever. Make it quick, Tenderfoot. I'm busy.
Gravesite fees I need to collect.
Shit. Silas still on about that. Here, take the fees. I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell Reed I was late on my payment.
These papers aren't signed in your name.
Because they're not my fees and not my gravesite. Guy I worked with shot himself. I paid the bill.
You have to pay for your neighbour's gravesite fees?
If you're not familiar with board law, you ought to be. Law requires delinquent gravesite fees to be paid by the deceased party's closest living relative, which meant me. Shame, though. Eugene was a good worker.
You said he shot himself?
Woke up one morning and put a round through his upper story. Can't imagine why. The kid was doing all right at his desk. We all thought he was an upstanding receptionist. Just between the two of us, I'm pretty shocked his weapon didn't misfire. Spacer's Choice handguns aren't the most reliable.
Must be tough losing family.
Eugene wasn't family.
I thought you said you were his closest relative.
Yeah, I was the closest living person relative to his body at time of death. I'm the one who found him, you see, so I pay the fines. Suicide's a crime. The legal term is irreparable damage to company property. What Eugene did to himself was vandalism.
Fucking hell. You can't be serious. Vandalism, huh? Did you have to clean bits of him off the wall or something?
First of all, that's a horrible thing to say. Secondly, yes, we did. When one of your workers commits a crime, the entire town pays for it. In other words, Edgewater would have been penalized pretty hard. Whatever Eugene was worth as an asset, we would have had to pay out of pocket to Spacer's Choice.
This Eugene guy sounds like he was more trouble than he was worth.
All I know is Silas asked me for Eugene's gravesite fees, which means he was approved for burial, which means his papers went through, which means the town's in the clear. I'm just glad to put this whole ugly affair behind me. Eugene can rest his bones in peace, and the rest of us can get on with our own lives.
I'll let you get back to work. Alright. So it seems like there's a very capitalistic criticism, I guess. Just kind of how I guess Fallout started out as like a political commentary on what the world could be like.
Wish we had some better rations.
But
Yes, Mr. Thompson. I'm fine, Mr. Thompson. Never.
This is an Abernathy fellow that's said to be a pain.